Why y'all guys are surprised that Brittany Renner took off her hijab, babe? That hijab was not for her in the beginning. That hijab was there because of a man. Once the man was gone, unattainable, she was back to her old ways. Okay? Are you surprised? No, you should not be, girl. It's Brittany Renner. Okay? All bets is off, all limits is off, girl. I'm gonna just say what it needs to be said. Now she can't wear the hijab because her hair is too big to fit under the hijab, sister. But it was under there before. What happened? What happened? Where's your hijab? Put it on. I'm sick of it. Playing in these people's religion. Allah told me he is not playing about that, honey. Okay? Akbak. Whatever you said. Girl, playing in somebody's religion for a man is crazy. Crazy. But as crazy as I'm looking now. Anyways. I like to stir a pot.
Hello ladies, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be doing a spiritual reading or a spiritual analysis on Brittany Renner and the entire situation. I started off with divination and then I'll do some numerology. I don't know her exact birth time, so I'm not going to read her birth chart or anything like that. I pulled some cards for Brittany and the situation is very emotionally charged. So Brittany posted a video where she was basically showing her afro. So it was the first time in some months that we've seen her without the hijab. And that's telling me that she's ready to move forward. But anyways, the relationship ended, all right? And to Brittany, this feels like a setback. This feels like failure because she got the Six of Wands reverse, okay? Then it was followed by the King of Pentacles upright. So I believe that what she's thinking right now is about getting in her bag. So she's most likely thinking about what's going to be her next financial move because Brittany strikes me as the girl that craves financial stability and emotional stability, but it seems elusive to her. So the rest of the reading is basically telling me that she's overcoming self-doubt and transforming raw emotional pain because I got the Strength card reverse. It was also followed by the Ten of Cups reverse. So it's telling me that she's dealing with a lot of conflicts and she's realigning her values. So I don't know where she's going to go from here, but then I got the Four of Swords because I pulled these cards to clarify the Strength card reverse. So with the Four of Swords reversed, that's telling me that, you know, she has to overcome denial because I feel like she's been in denial for a while. And maybe she was in denial because of the relationship. Like she was really trying to convince herself that this relationship was going to work. We all saw that it wasn't going to work, okay? We also got the Queen of Wands, and it was also reversed, right? So which tells me that she needs to socialize and work on her self-esteem at the moment, because I believe that this relationship really messed with her self-esteem. So she's ready to go out there. She's ready to go back out on the streets, so to speak. Okay, so listen, I've never been so happy to see someone back on the streets here because I wanted that girl out of that situation. I do not like that guy, Kevin, okay? In all my life, in all my 45 years, I've never met a good Kevin in my life. They're all trifling ass mother effers, okay? And I'm going to talk about him in a minute. So yeah, she is very emotionally hurt by the situations, okay? So, you know, she's walking away from it, which is good, which is very brave. A lot of women do not have that courage. Brittany is very male identified, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, which is why she's in the situation in the first place. But one thing I like about her is that she's not afraid to walk away because eventually she ends up choosing herself, which is a good sign. But this woman needs help. A lot of women, what we need is mentors. And I don't know what's happening with Brittany, but Brittany needs structure in her life. She needs focus in her life because I feel like that is what she is really craving for. So she's walking away from this situation or already walked away. I feel like she was either she was rejected by Kevin, or she feels like Well, obviously, okay, anyone can see that. Like, you don't need divination to tell you this. She feel like whatever she signed up for wasn't what she expected. Okay, I feel like maybe she was disrespected in this relationship, and maybe this guy just didn't turn out to be who she thought he was going to be. And to be honest, I do not know how she couldn't see this, but you know what? These Instagram body girls, these girls are bird brains, okay? Like, I like Brittany Renner. And, she was on IG twerking and selling her one-legged tights and stuff like that. She was in her bag and she was doing whatever she was doing. But at the end of the day, this marriage to Kevin Gates was a bad decision from the jump. And to be honest, were they really married though? Because did we see a wedding? Did we see a wedding dress? Did we see documents? Because again, with Muslim people, things are not always clear, okay? And I'm not here to judge people from the Muslim community, but I'm going to say some things, all right? And some of y'all may get in your feelings, but I'm speaking my truth and I said what I said. All right, so let's get into the second half of this analysis, all right? So the dates in which she got married and the dates in which she got divorced is so funny to me. I had to do a numerological analysis. So the day when she got married on April 6th, which is the fourth month, and in the year 2025. And 2025 is a number 9 year, right? When I added up all these numbers, I got a number 1. So the wedding day was a vibration number 1. And this is a number that is associated with new beginnings, individuality, and leadership. So in relationships, this number can represent people with strong will and obviously personal independence. And I believe that Brittany is pretty independent in spite of her male-centeredness. But the number also represents the beginning of a major karmic cycle. So, this relationship and this decision to get married, it was definitely a bold leap forward, but it also lacked emotional depth and long-term harmony. So we're moving on to the divorce filing day, which is allegedly May 28th. That's what she said. And that number comes up to a number 6, okay? So 6 is a number of love, home, duty, and emotional responsibility. So divorcing under this 6 vibration, it signifies to me her leaving in order to preserve her peace or her emotional health. And it also means that she realized that something doesn't really align with her values or her emotional needs. And she had to step back in order to restore balance. And again, I think that what she did was the right thing. Get out of it. It did not work. Okay, you got into this situation because you were infatuated with this guy. I do not know what your motivation was behind getting with this guy to begin with. But what I don't like and what I'm not going to stand for is the fact that people are bashing her for divorcing after 52 days and saying that it's not Muslim. Okay, and people bashing her, claiming that she's not observing the Muslim faith properly. First of all, I don't want to hear that because I will tell you why. If Kevin Gates gave a shit about his religion, because at least Britney tried, at least Britney was dressing modest or whatnot, at least she tried. But if this Kevin Gates gave a shit about his faith, he would remove all his tattoos, all of them. He will get rid of them piercings because all of that stuff is supposed to be haram, right? And he will stop singing them songs. This dude have a song titled Dick Dong. Give me a break. Like, I don't know how the Muslim community allow these rappers to troll their religion. I do not know how you allow that. But maybe I'm not seeing something that is obvious to other Muslim people. So give me some clarity. Lend me some clarity on this. Write in the comments and tell me if what Kevin Gates is doing, if that's okay and if it's not haram. Because it's ridiculous. Okay? Last time I checked, tattoos is forbidden. So I believe that if someone wants to convert to Islam, the Islamic community should require that they remove the tattoos, require that they clean up their life, and require that they start rapping about God and not bitches and sex. So I don't want to hear it. None of them are innocent. They divorced after 52 days. Okay, so let's continue with the numerology analysis. So after 52 days, they divorce. So 52 adds up to a number 7. And 7 is a spiritual number that is linked to introspection, awakening, and truth seeking. So many spiritual traditions, including Islam, they see the number 7 as sacred. So, the 52-day marriage, that is suggesting to me that their union was some kind of mirror, but for each other. It was definitely karmic, and the marriage or the relationship was meant for learning rather than longevity. So, to summarize my numerological breakdown, the marriage date as up to a number 1, which represents new beginning, bold moves, spiritual initiation. The divorce date is a number 6, which means emotional realignment, love, and duty, and of course, values. And the duration of the marriage, which is a number 7, is soul searching, karma, and spiritual lessons. In conclusion, this marriage was definitely brief, but it wasn't random. And it carried strong karmic and spiritual and personal growth lessons. And I hope that Brittany learned her lesson. But then again, I don't know, because this girl seems to struggle with learning her lessons. She seems to be repeating the same patterns over and over again. And when it comes to men, she seems like she struggled to maintain her identity with these relationships. Like, it's weird. I do not know why this girl is so male-centered. Maybe I should go look up her Wikipedia, because I wouldn't be surprised. I don't see a Wikipedia page for Brittany Renner, so I'm just going to ignore that, but I'm going to assume that this girl has daddy issues, okay? So the lesson in the entire situation, I hope that she learned them. Now, I really believe that Brittany is lost. Brittany doesn't know herself on a spiritual level, especially. She doesn't know herself. And like I said, she comes across to me as very male-centered, because converting religion for a man, maybe that made sense back in the day when women weren't allowed to have bank accounts and stuff like that. But doing that in 2025, come on, that is not necessary, okay? First of all, I cannot take men covered in tattoos seriously. Secondly, converting religion for a man covered in tattoos is insane. That's crazy work. I don't get it. So I feel like in this day and age, when a woman is converting her religion for a man, it's just backwards. And another thing that I've noticed about people from this particular faith or religion, Islam, their devotees, the devotees of this religion, they put the religion first. Hear me out. They put that religion first. They put that religion above themselves, above God, above money, above relationships. And yes, you heard me, above God. That's how it come across to me. All right. And because a spiritually mature person knows that God is within all of us and religion is man-made. And I said all of that to remind you, ladies, that if you decide to date a Muslim man and marry a Muslim man, just know that you will never ever be number 1. You might not even be number 2. No, the religion is number 1, Allah is number 2, and you might be number 5 or something. Okay? It is rare. I've never seen, and it probably happened, but I've never seen it. And we have a strong Muslim community in my country. My first primary school was a Muslim school. I've been around people from that faith, and I've never seen a Muslim man convert to another religion in order for him to get married. I've never seen it. It's always the other way around. When the girlies are talking about the Arab guys, and the Arab guys, they have so much money and they're buying us Birkins or whatnot, you all have fun. But that's not for me. Okay? You all have fun. You all go get the Birkins and the Chanel bags and go to Dubai or whatnot. I'm going to stay my ass right over here. I'm not dealing with those guys, because I'm not converting to Islam for nobody. I don't even believe in religion, especially this patriarchal Abrahamic religion. You think I'm going to do that for a man? Hell no, I'm not going to do that. Why? Because I know myself. Brittany doesn't know herself. Her actions, it confuses me, because this girl, she puts these men on a pedestal, and she has questionable taste in men. And like I said earlier, I do not know what kind of Muslim Kevin is. That man is covered in tattoos, and he's a rapper. Okay. She did not convert to this religion with deep conviction. She did it for a man. It's like She trades pieces of herself. She trades pieces of her identity for male validation and male attention, male approval. Okay. I like Brittany Renner, but she's not above criticism because I'm going to criticize her. This girl is adult brain. Like I don't get it sometimes. Her actions, it's given a deep lack of inner foundation, spiritual instability. And without that firm inner foundation, knowing yourself and knowing your worth, the way that it manifests in women in patriarchal cultures is women just becoming chameleons and adapting for survival mode. So, like I said, in the past, I get the reason why a woman would do that. But in 2025, you do not have to convert to no religion. Because what people don't know about Islam is that Islam is a total life system. Okay, it's not just religion because it governs how you dress, how you eat, how you pray, who you marry, divorce, how you raise children, how you handle money. It governs a lot of these things. So I'm right when I say that in traditionalism, the faith comes first, even before marriage. When was the last time you all seen a Muslim man convert to Christianity or Yoruba or spirituality or Hinduism or Buddhism? Like you never see that. So, sometimes I ask myself, why do non-Muslim women try to date these men? Why don't you just leave these men to the women that were born into that faith or converted into that faith on their own free will, not for a man? Leave those men to those women. But you know what? I feel like those women in that faith knows that Kevin Gates is all bullshit. They know. They know. Like I don't understand why that faith just allows these rappers and these black men who are obviously atheists, do not believe in God because they don't listen. The way they lead their lives tells me that they don't believe in God, they don't believe in a higher power. So I do not know what it is about this Islam faith that these men love so much, but it has nothing to do with God. I mean, I guess we can all guess the reason for their motivation to join that religion, but I digress. So, I feel like, with women, Western women in particular, I feel like they look at these men, like these Muslim men and Arab men, and they think that, these men have charm or some kind of mystique or something. And, a lot of these men do project power, discipline, and a lot of women interpret this as, masculinity, which doesn't surprise me, right? And when it comes to the wounded feminine, like people like Brittany, a lot of these women are insecure. They tend to gravitate towards dominant men because I truly believe that a lot of these girls have daddy issues. Okay? They gravitate to these men who appear structured, even if the structure is restrictive, because again, that's a restrictive religion when it comes to women. So Brittany is craving deep down is stability and structure. Okay, because she is a life path number 4. And then another thing is that a lot of you ladies need to let go is this sort of fantasy redemption mindset. Some of y'all believe that love can bridge all gaps, it can bridge faith and everything. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's not what love does. And again, her taste in men has always been questionable. Wasn't she the girl that flew somewhere on her own dime? I think it was Atlanta or something because she was trying to meet Future and he flaked on her. Is it the same girl? Because this girl is not bright. She's not very smart. Because like her type is toxic masculinity. Okay, she idolized these toxic men. And a lot of these toxic men are out here and women idolize them. Women put them on a pedestal. And by toxic men, I'm talking about Future, Kevin Gates, R. Kelly. What's the other one? The one that got arrested. Yeah, Chris Brown. In spite of how violent these men are, how horrible they are, women are still women are still chasing these men. It's embarrassing. And Britney is one of these girls. Britney is a groupie. I mean, just looking at Kevin Gates, just looking at that man doesn't he have like teardrop tattoos or something? Because I'm not looking at him right now. But I mean, come on. What is it about this man is attractive? Like somebody tell me, what is attractive about this ugly ass man? I'm sick and tired of these niggas running around trying to be religious or spiritual. It's an illusion of spiritual masculinity because Kevin Gates is a chaotic contradiction. Okay? You converted, but you still have your tattoos. It's forbidden. If you really cared about your faith and really took it seriously, you would be getting it removed. he's openly sexual in lyrics in his songs, but you want to talk about being a devout or a devotee of Islam, like it doesn't make any sense. Because to me, these men are the ones that are chasing this trend because a lot of people are saying that, Britney became Muslim because it's a trend. First of all, when did religion become a trend? When? Secondly, why aren't these men getting called out for joining Islam because they think it's a trend? Why is Britney getting all this hate? That's one silly ass woman, one silly ass bird brain bitch that is infatuated with this guy and decided to convert to Islam. I mean, it's not like we've never seen this before. We all had friends back in high school or when we were younger that were so male identified and would change their entire personality for a man. We all know bitches like this. Okay. And Britney is no different. Because this whole converting to Islam thing, to me, is part of a trend of men who are performing spirituality as an aesthetic or just for control. It's not, they're not actually submitting to divine truth. And that in itself can lure women who are spiritually curious, but also emotionally wounded. And I believe that Brittany is emotionally wounded. This girl needs to do some shadow work. All right. Because, these men will come and talk about spirituality and stuff like that. And it sounds deep, but it's not grounded. Because I'm sick and tired of these women who are confused about their identity and who they are. I'm sick and tired of the inconsistency and spiritual hypocrisy in these men like Kevin. And I'm sick and tired of this perceived imbalance of power in these relationships where women think that they have to surrender their whole identity to be chosen. I'm sick and tired of it. I do believe that, like I said, now I'm looking at her psychologically because I would call or categorize Brittany as the wounded feminine archetype. Okay. And these are the women that chronically shift their whole identity to just to please and attract men. And again, Brittany is not the only pick me bitch there is. Okay. People are mad because she's pretty and she's an Instagram baddie. Because that energy which she embodies is rooted in trauma and abandonment. It's rooted in low self-worth. It's rooted in validation addiction because these women are addicted to male validation. Everything they do is for the male gaze. These bitches need help. All right? Because what I see from a metaphysical perspective is a fragmented soul identity. Because this is going to sound really deep. Okay, so I feel like some people wouldn't be ready for this, but I feel like women like Brittany, they carry this sort of fragmented soul blueprint because in past lives, women like Brittany, they were either concubines, priestesses, or abandoned wives. And Brittany, everyone says she's a 3 or 4. I don't know, like, did she have an OnlyFans? Like, I really don't know. I mean, I like her, but I don't like her that much that I know everything that she's doing. She's just a girl that I follow on Instagram. I think I still follow her, even though I don't really be on Instagram anymore. But yeah. So, because these women probably carry this type of soul blueprint, they are absolutely terrified of being alone. And when men say that women are going to die alone and single with cats, this is the fear that they're talking about because I know it's a projection when men say it, but there are actually women out there. Let's not pretend. There are women out there that are terrified of being alone. And these women have this compulsion to serve these men and mold themselves into what he wants. Okay, so maybe even her conversion to Islam could have been a past life bleed where she was once under religious rule and didn't have personal autonomy. Who knows? But what a lot of people don't see is that it's a spiritual trap. It's false salvation. Let me explain. A lot of women believe romantic unions equals spiritual salvation. Think about that. Just let that sink in a little bit, okay? I'm going to say it again. A lot of women believe that romantic unions equals spiritual salvation. We wonder why women are male identified. If you were born into any one of these Abrahamic religions, it's only natural that you are going to be male centered. And we are going to center the male, and the male is like God. A lot of these women will sacrifice their faith, their identity, even their boundaries and intuition for a man. because they confuse devotion to God with devotion to a man who claims to represent God, because that's what he claims. Oh, I'm a Muslim, I believe in Allah, blah, blah, blah. These women like Brittany, they're always pleasing, chasing, shape-shifting. These women are lost. And a lot of people lack spiritual discernment. So, my final thoughts on Brittany is that she's definitely disconnected from her core. And she is trying to find meaning. Okay. She wants the men that she's dating and getting involved with to bring meaning into her life and bring stability and whatnot. But she has to bring that to herself. Listen, I cannot stand a woman who gives up her entire career, gives up all her hobbies and her entire identity for a man. And I've seen it in this community as well. I've seen girls all about the sprinkle, sprinkle life, blah, blah, blah. And then they meet a man, and all of a sudden they're no longer posting, they're no longer saying sprinkle, sprinkle. These girls posting on social media, all of a sudden they're religious. I've seen it before. So Brittany is not the first and she's not going to be the last. All right. But the fact that this is happening in 2025 it's not only concerning, but it's embarrassing. Okay. It's embarrassing. You all should be ashamed of yourself. As for Kevin Gates, I did not know who he was. I didn't even know Brittany Renner was married until about 3 weeks ago. I saw someone sharing her pictures with her in the hijab, and I was like, what the hell? Ain't no way. I went on Instagram, like y'all. Listen, I ran over to Instagram. Like I fell and tripped running over to Instagram to go look at her profile because I don't be on Instagram like that anymore. And I went to her page, and lo and behold, it's true. She converted to Islam. And I'm like, are you kidding me? But I became aware of Kevin Gates when he was talking about LeBron's wife, which I felt was very disrespectful. Because you are a married man, you're a Muslim man. Why do you care about another man's business and his marriage? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. These men are so weird, y'all. And sometimes I wonder if these men are gay, secretly gay or something, because what is your problem? He's like, oh, I like how the white women look at LeBron. And then in that same video, when he was making that video, Brittany entered the room. Did you all see how he talked to her? No wonder why she left. Did you all hear how that man spoke to that woman? And another thing that I hate above everything else is their body language, y'all. Oh my God, it gets on my nerve. I am going to dedicate an entire video about these black male celebs' body language when it comes to their women. These men do not like women. I'm sorry, they don't like women. And I'm going to prove it, okay? I'm going to make a video dedicated just for that. I want you all to learn to read that specific body language so that whenever you see it with whatever man that you're dating, just walk away. Walk away. I realize that a lot of women never dated a man that actually likes them. And that's sad. When you start dating men that actually like you, it's different. It's a whole different vibe. You will never go back. But anyways, that's all I have to say about this whole Brittany Renner situation, getting divorced after 52 days. That's all I have to say, y'all. Thanks for listening.